All right, amigos, amigas, and amigos. We have a new video. It's on Jeremy Ethier, my friend. I'm going to review this video. It's why your muscles aren't growing and how to fix it. Well, I'm gonna explain why they're not growing, and let's listen to him explain how to bypass that to make them grow.
Building muscle is easy if you're a brand new beginner. Past the newbie gain stage though, building muscle becomes disproportionately harder, especially as a natural.
Okay, so why is that? Why does it become proportionately harder after the newbie gain phase to build muscle? You want to know why? I'll tell you why. Because muscle reaches a myonuclear domain size limit. So you come into the gym that first time, you start lifting weights, you reached an M&D size limit. M&D size has a ceiling limit during hypertrophic process, beyond which extra myonuclei are donated by satellite cell to support further muscle growth. So if it's beyond this satellite cell to donate its extra myonuclei donated by satellite cell to support further muscle growth, what do you have to do? See what I mean? So let's see what he has to say about that. What are you going to do to bypass that? To keep it growing, Mr. Jeremy Genius?
This is why so many people, no matter how hard they work in the gym or how well they eat, can't seem to grow their muscles any bigger. You can't brute force your way past this. And beyond the basic...
You can't brute force your way past this. Well, we know that nuclei, these myonuclei, they synthesize protein. So if the satellite cell is not going to donate, that's why he said, no matter how much you eat, you can't brute force your way past this. Why can't you brute force your way past this? Because it says here, like it says in myonuclear domain size limit, it says it's beyond which extra myonuclei are donated by satellite cell to support further muscle growth. So, yeah, he's right there. You can't brute force your way through this.
Can't seem to grow their muscles any bigger. You can't brute force your way past this. And beyond the basic fixes like eat enough food or get enough sleep, it often all comes down to one reason. Today I'm going to reveal what that reason is and how to modify your training to instantly make it far more effective at building muscle.
So how is he going to make it more effective? How is he going to get over the myonuclear domain size limit? You understand what I'm trying to explain to you? I'm so curious to hear what he has to say.
First, we have to understand how a muscle actually grows in order to take advantage of it. Historically,
we know how it grows. We know exactly how muscle grows. A deposit of myonuclei are deposited when you first come in. You're untrained. So it reached a ceiling limit. It donated these nuclei, and it's beyond that. It's quiescent now. It's beyond where it can donate any more extra nuclei to that domain. And why is it beyond? Well, because of the protective effect makes it beyond that. It's complicated, man. But let's hear what he has to say. I'm curious.
There were three mechanisms that everyone conceived as driving muscle growth. And I mean everyone. From trainers to old school bodybuilders to scientists. And I remember reading about...
Okay, so how do you get over the myonuclear domain size limit, bro? Come on, what is this three scientists?
These mechanisms on an online forum, and instantly I tried tweaking my training program to try to...
Oh, he went on the forum to find the answer, to tweak his, this thing, whatever. Okay.
Maximize all three of these mechanisms. And the rest of the...
Oh, there are three mechanisms that get over the myonuclear domain size limit? Okay.
She did the same, promoting training programs and protocols that took advantage of these three mechanisms.
Oh, training programs and protocols, and you show a bunch of fake bodybuilders on drugs from like way back from the 70s. Okay, great. The protocols does this. Is that it? Protocols get you over the M&D size limit.
However, as more research was conducted over time, it became evident that the science and reasoning behind some of these mechanisms were quite flawed. And unfortunately, most people, including many trainers, weren't made aware of this. And as a result, many people
they weren't made aware of this. This is terrible, man. They should be made aware of this.
Still train ineffectively, preventing them from building muscle long term. In fact, there is a strong chance that one or more of your training habits are based on an outdated understanding of muscle growth. So what are these three mechanisms, and which of them are no longer reliable? The first mechanism, muscle damage, is actually something that most people intuitively strive for after their workouts. And it's very straightforward, representing actual damage known as microtrauma that training can cause to muscle cells. And this damage...
Now, how did I know he was going to say muscle micro damage? I didn't even watch this video.
It causes a reactive inflammatory response in the body, which can create muscle soreness, and in theory, causes the muscles to...
Wait, it creates an inflammatory response and the muscle creates soreness? No, muscle damage creates micro injuries in the muscles, which create an inflammatory response, and there's a delayed onset muscle soreness.
Grow bigger in response. And because of this...
No, they don't just grow bigger because of the response. Okay, them just don't grow bigger. Okay, just like that. No, I don't think so, man. But yeah, okay, listen to what he has to say. Hold on.
Many people go out of their way to pursue soreness while training, thinking that more soreness means more gains. So the second mechanism...
No, that's not what typically happens. So they do pursue this muscle damage. Here's the problem with it. It does equate to larger muscles. It will equate to that, but there's something else that has to take place. So it's called the understanding of the repeated bout effect, the protective effect against muscle damage from a single bout of eccentric exercise. The repeated bout effect refers to the adaptation whereby a single bout of eccentric exercise protects muscle against muscle damage from subsequent eccentric bouts. So there's no more muscle damage because it's protected by something called repeated bout effect in science. So he's like saying, well, they're pursuing more of this damage. Well, you can keep pursuing it, but it's protected now after the first bout.
The second mechanism is called metabolic stress, and this mechanism represents...
I love this one, the metabolic stress. What is this metabolic stress? Here's the thing. Even though you got some muscle damage, protein synthesis needs to exceed that breakdown of that muscle in order for that muscle to grow. So even if you ate your sandwich and you broke down some muscle, it could become apoptotic. Yeah, apoptosis. You'll get a loss of muscle actually getting this muscle damage if it's not, protein synthesis is not exceeding that breakdown. Yeah.
The chemical demands placed on your muscles during training.
No matter how much you pursue this soreness, damage, like he says, if protein synthesis is not exceeding that breakdown, you are actually now losing muscle fibers. They are actually dying because they're injured. In an injured, something injured, you could lose material.
If you train your muscles a certain way, it can cause a high amount of chemical byproducts to build up in that muscle. As you work hard...
High amount of chemical byproducts to build in that muscle by doing mechanical tension. Well, some of that byproduct could be sarcoplasmic hypertrophy. It's a type of artificial muscle growth. Oh, I think I posted that in my community section. Yes. I'll have to look in there. Jeremy. Yeah. Community section. Oh, I did happen to just post one. Muscle fiber hypertrophy in response to 6 weeks of high resistance, volume resistance training in trained young men is largely attributed to sarcoplasmic hypertrophy. See, people that are already trained, like him, going to the gym often, getting this mechanical tension, you get sarcoplasmic hypertrophy in trained men. But untrained muscle, guess what untrained muscle gets? Myofibular growth. Get it, broski? And that's the difference when you truly understand what bodybuilding is all about in the natural world. And I'm talking about in nature. Yeah. How about that one, eh? What is sarcoplasmic hypertrophy? It's a type of artificial muscle growth. It's fake.
Harder and harder and create more and more buildup, your muscles become more acidic, creating a burning sensation in your muscles that...
Oh, you want to make them acidic, do you, Jeremy? Interesting.
I'm sure many of you are familiar with. The hormonal environment and swelling of the muscle caused by this is theorized to cause muscle growth. To maximize...
The swelling of the muscle will cause muscle growth. Well, I know people chronically swelling the muscle doing mechanical tension in the gym. So they swell the muscle and they get fake muscle growth. This is fake, bro. Well, they're sarcoplasmic. That's through glycogen loading. But this swelling of the muscle is what I've been telling people on the internet. People keep chronically swelling the muscle, trying to build it through swelling, and that swelling keeping it in your muscles, which is accelerating aging and other things.
Metabolic stress. You want to use training methods that don't allow your muscles enough time to clear away the chemical buildup. High reps,
So you're building muscles through chemical buildup and swelling. Yeah, that's what everybody's getting in the gym. People don't really believe what I say in my channel. I try to explain this to them. He's actually bringing it out. He's telling you straight in your face. You're building swelling muscles through chemicals, swelling up the muscles. So this is another fake type of muscle.
resets, short rest periods, anything that gives you a big Arnold pump or strong burning
He
sensation.
hasn't really told you how you get over the myonuclear domain size limit. He hasn't mentioned anything. He mentioned swelling of muscles. He talked about muscle damage, but it's protected. So that's not going any further. We know that. He still hasn't mentioned how you get over the myonuclear domain size limit, where the progenitor, the satellite cell, is beyond, where it's donating any extra nuclei to further that muscle growth. And he even said, no matter how much you eat or what you do, you just can't seem to grow.
Your muscles all take advantage of this mechanism. The third and final mechanism.
Shows a fake bodybuilder again. They take advantage. All of these processes take advantage of this method. Yeah, fake methods. Here we go. Mechanical tension. I love this.
Is mechanical tension, and this represents the tension that's placed on your muscle as it lengthens and then contracts under load. You can think of it as a band repeatedly stretching and then
Yes, we can think of it as a band stretching, going back and forth and getting it to swell up because it doesn't like that.
shortening each rep.
It's an irritant. It's irritating the muscles, so they're swelling because you're causing this blunting type of damage to it, which it doesn't like.
Generally, the heavier the weights you lift and the greater the range of motion you use to lift them, the more mechanical tension is created. Now, all three
Mechanical tension does not get over the myonuclear domain size limit. That's not how you get the progenitor satellite cell to donate its extra nuclei to support further muscle growth, Jeremy.
mechanisms sound great on paper, but recent research has revealed that we've been undermining the importance of one, way overestimated one, and well, we were completely wrong about the
And this channel has 5.98 million subscribers. What the fuck?
other. Let's start with muscle damage. When researchers of a 2017
Yes, let's start with muscle damage. Why don't we?
review took a closer look at existing muscle damage research, they were met with findings that came as quite a surprise. They found that the growth past researchers thought muscle damage caused was actually just due to temporary swelling in the muscle that would occur after training. Temporary
Okay, what type of muscle damage is this? Is this muscle injury or muscle damage from chronically lifting? So it's temporary swelling. Because muscle is protected from any more damage with a repeated bout, called the repeated bout effect phenomenon.
making muscles appear bigger than they actually were. When this was accounted for, participants who experienced greater muscle damage and soreness from their workouts didn't experience greater growth. It was
What type of damage are they getting though? He says muscle damage and cell swelling. Well, you may get some swelling inflammatory response, but that doesn't happen the first day. That happens on the second day. They call that a delayed onset muscle swelling soreness. Get it? But people who are getting it on the day them working out, well, that type of damage, that's kind of like, you know what I mean? It's, yeah. He says muscle growth down, muscle damage, cell swelling going up. Yeah. Muscles is protected from any more damage. So what type of damage is this guy getting? You see what I mean? If it's protected from any more damage, what is he getting with a repeated bout?
wasn't until the muscle damage eventually died down did participants start experiencing true muscle growth.
Wait, so the swelling died. He says the swelling died down, the muscle growth took off. What kind of muscle growth is this? What is he talking about?
Other studies support this as well, suggesting that although muscle damage and soreness...
What type of growth is that? Is sarcoplasmic growth, again, because these are trained people. He's talking about trained people, so that growth that went up is sarcoplasmic growth. What I showed you here, hold on a second, is this right here. It's sarcoplasmic hypertrophy. That growth goes up. That's the growth that goes up after the swelling goes down. Look, typically when you're lifting the weight, there's no more damage. You're a trained person. Look, you're a trained person. The repeated bout effect kicks in. It protects. It's the protective effect against muscle damage from a single bout of eccentric exercise. So we know there's no more damage. So that type of damage is ceased. So what is the growth that you're getting? Is sarcoplasmic because you're a trained person. So like he said, that swelling goes down, that growth goes up. He didn't say what that muscle growth was. He just said muscle grows. Well, muscle can grow also through sarcoplasmic hypertrophy. See, it says largely attributed to sarcoplasmic hypertrophy, muscle fiber hypertrophy. There you go. What is that? It's a fake type of muscle growth. It's fake, bro. Yeah, it's fake.
Suggesting that although muscle damage and soreness will be a byproduct of hard training,
muscle damage and soreness is a byproduct of hard training. Well, yeah, if you're doing something you've never done before, you may get this muscle damage to come back. If you're unaccustomed to doing it, yes, definitely.
To get more of it does not lead to more growth, and can in fact.
I like how he's faking that. Getting more of it doesn't lead to more growth. No, getting muscle damage will lead to more growth only if protein synthesis exceeds that breakdown. I guess people are confused. He did mention what will get you over the myonuclear domain size limit, this muscle damage. That's how it gets you over it. But the problem is there's no more damage. Now, he just mentioned how to get that. He said if you do more of this specific thing that you're unaccustomed to doing, and you'll get it.
Hinder it. As for metabolic stress, we can determine its effectiveness by analyzing training protocol.
He said you won't get any more growth. Okay. So metabolic stress, now he's opting for metabolic stress.
That create high amounts of metabolic stress and see how well that they stimulate growth. Shorter rest periods.
Metabolic stress, it's chemicals being released. So this is just pure inflammation.
For example, seem to create a high amount of metabolic stress. Yet, it's been consistently shown to cause less muscle growth than longer rest periods where less metabolic stress occurs. Training all the way to
because you're losing that inflammatory response, what you're chasing, these fake muscles.
Failure also creates a very high amount of metabolic stress. But when compared to stopping just a couple reps shy of
but you're also getting sarcoplasmic growth as well.
Failure, it at best results in an equal amount of muscle growth. And lastly, faster lifting tempos involve.
Look, man, your body, the way it creates and does things, has nothing to do with gyms. Fuck, you could be in a factory lifting weights. It's very specific why it's not building muscle anymore, there's no more damage, or why it's building up sarcoplasmic hypertrophy. You people, these influencers and everybody, them and their sick brain, they think that it's doing this is going to make it, there's going to be a specific response because I go to a gym and I move these weights around. So it's not like being in a factory. So we got the bro science here. These people are so stupid. Science applies to everything. It's applied to what is natural in the natural world. This doesn't have any special powers, the gym, going there. You understand me? It isn't going to build any muscle. It's just stupid.
Far more metabolic stress than slower lifting tempos, yet tends to provide
I know factory workers that get metabolic stress. They're doing repeated stuff like putting straws in bottles.
Equal or less muscle growth. Overall suggesting that even
equal or less muscle growth in what? Inflammatory response?
Metabolic
chemicals?
Stress doesn't seem to be strongly correlated with hypertrophy. Finally, mechanical tension. This mechanism has withstood the test of time, and recent research has only served to
Again, mechanical tension. Here we go. Mechanical tension is not muscle damage. What is this exactly? Like, what is this? This going to get you over the myonuclear domain size limit? I don't think so.
Iterate that it's the most important driver for muscle growth. Now, although metabolic stress will always be present to some degree in your training, and muscle damage will still occur whenever you train a muscle hard enough, it's clear that for
muscle damage will still occur no matter how much you train the muscle? No, not this damage. Not this type of damage it won't. But maybe a blunting type of damage, yes.
Muscle damage will still occur.
Bad type of damage, I would say, which is going to cause an inflammatory response constantly in the muscle.
Whenever whenever you train a muscle hard enough, it's clear that for the best results, you want to structure your workouts such that they maximize mechanical tension. How can we do this? Simple. There's
Okay, I'm going to tell you right now, mechanical tension does not get you over myonuclear domain size limit. That doesn't work.
4 modifications that you want to make to your workouts.
Neither does this damage that he's talking about. It's very specific damage that will get that progenitor to donate its nuclei to that domain to support further muscle growth.
By the way, guys, before we dive into the modifications, I'm curious. What is one thing that you've been told was really important for building muscle, but didn't turn out to be true? Comment below. For me personally, I always thought that the key was shocking my muscle with new exercises every single workout.
So he thought that shocking the muscle with new exercise will get him growth, but he doesn't talk about getting over myonuclear domain size limit. He doesn't think about that to support further muscle growth, and he doesn't state that protein synthesis needs to exceed that breakdown to support that growth. Why? Because it's uncomfortable to get over the myonuclear domain size limit. Extremely painful and uncomfortable for some people. And number 2, protein synthesis must exceed that breakdown. It's extremely uncomfortable for people to eat that amount of protein to exceed that breakdown, to build that muscle. It is uncomfortable, and he wants you to be comfortable, and being comfortable does not build muscles. Being comfortable lifting a heavy weight, playing with the weights, conquering the weights, looking for mechanical tensions, and I gotta do this, that, damage my muscles, blah, 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 baloney stuff by wearing them out, or sarcoplasmic hypertrophy, herbivore diets, and whatever, man, or eating bulk diets and all these things. These are all comfortable to people because, oh, bulk diet, it tastes really, really good. I could bulk easily because donuts, sweet stuff and all that, sugar drugs and all that, delicious. Get fat, get skinny, or how about I just get ripped and pretend that I have muscles and, look good with a shirt off. Okay.
All right, back muscles, you ready for some pull-ups? Psych, not today. Which actually leads...
If you don't have money, you cannot build your body, and that's why he's got so many subscribers, because this is popular, because many people do not have money and they can't build their body and they get frustrated. So they watch this for a while, they try it, it doesn't work, and then they just give up. I know so many people have left the gym, have left gyms, that stopped exercise, that stopped doing all these things. Why? Because it's just a waste of time, because they never put the true effort into it to actually really build their body. They never put the effort. They go there for years and years. They look the same. They don't change. Nothing's going on. I see women coming into the gym. They never change. Come back 3 years later, 5 years later, still fat, chubby, moving around, running around. Their bodies have never changed because they've never put the effort into it to actually cause it to change. They don't know that money, food, money, and everything changes your body, not a gym lifting weights.
Me right into the first workout modification that I want you to make. First modification. Most people design their workouts so that they feel more sore, but don't prioritize feeling like you made progress. Prioritize action.
Yeah, that kind of sore is you're wearing out your body. That kind of soreness is not good. I know I worked in construction. I was sore when I went home. I felt really sore. That isn't a delayed onset muscle soreness. I just felt really sore because I was worn out. I'm damaging my body. I'm causing some sort of trauma by wearing my body out. You're going to get inflammation everywhere. My feet were inflamed, my body, my muscles, my legs. Yeah.
Making progress. And you can do this by sticking with the same exercises week to week and slowly adding more weight and reps to them as you get stronger. Although after a few weeks of this, you won't feel much soreness anymore, that's actually a good thing. It means you're recovering well.
After a few weeks from this, you won't feel any more soreness? I don't know what he's talking about. Recovering from what?
And your body is no longer spending a bunch of time and resources repairing old and damaged tissue, and instead focused on...
That isn't, those aren't micro injuries. That damaged tissue, that's pretty bad actually, that type of damage to the tissue.
Building new muscle. Second, rest with purpose.
You're not building new tissue, man, unless protein synthesis exceeds that breakdown in proteins.
Many people don't spend near enough time resting between sets, which decreases the amount of weight and reps they can lift in their next set and hence decreases mechanical tension. Illustrating this is a 2016 study by Schoenfeld and colleagues that compared resting 3 minutes or 1 minute between sets. After 8 weeks, strength and size for every muscle group measured increased more with the longer rest, reaching significance for 3 of the 4 muscles measured. Now, although
Yeah, what type of growth and size was this in strength? Oh, sarcoplasmic and myocytic androgen receptor strength. Okay.
optimal rest time highly depends on how taxing the exercise is, as well as your training status, a good recommendation is to spend at least 1.5 to 2 minutes of rest between sets for most of your exercises, with 3 minutes of rest or even more being a good idea for heavy compound movements. Just be aware that this may turn your workouts from sweaty, heart-pumping sessions that feel satisfying into a totally different kind of workout that may not feel like it did much, but in reality is far superior for building muscle. Trust the process. Third, increasing mechanical tension is not just about going from point A to point B or how much weight you can lift. It's about how you lift that weight from point A.
You know, it's almost like, how should I put it? What's that called? See if I can bring this up here. Hold on a second. No, not that one. Trying to think right now. Oh yeah, myocytic androgen receptor. Myocytic androgen receptor controls the strength. So here we go. So we know that myocytic androgen receptor controls the strength, but not the mass of the limb muscles. See what I mean? Not the mass of the limb muscles. So what controls the mass of the limb muscles? Well, what controls it? This controls it. Myonuclear domain size limit controls it. The satellite cell. See? MND size has a ceiling limit during hypertrophic process beyond which extra myonuclei are donated by who? The satellite cell to support further muscle growth. So what controls the mass of the limb muscles? The satellite cell. That's what controls that. Yeah. To support, if it's not donating any more myonuclei, it cannot support further muscle growth. So what controls the mass? What controls it? That. And one other ingredient, protein. Protein controls it. Not enough protein, zero growth. So you need two things to do that, to continue that growth. The problem is you need to know how the satellite cell donates its nuclei. How do you get it to donate it? It's not the fact that you're eating the protein. The protein is easy, that's the easy part. We know how to get over that part. Protein synthesis must exceed that breakdown. Now, the second part is how to get over the myonuclear domain size limit. He hasn't really mentioned it here. He hasn't stated how you get over that. And he also hasn't mentioned protein synthesis needs to exceed this breakdown. Get it?
How you lift that weight from point A to point B. Anytime you cut a rep short, don't control the weight down of a movement.
And no, it isn't the fake protein or nuclei overload training where you're going to wave your arms every day for 30 days. It didn't work for anybody on YouTube, okay? And I can prove that.
Or bounce out of the bottom position using momentum, you're effectively reducing the amount of mechanical tension placed on the muscle. Even if you've heard it a million times, you need to pay attention to proper form rather than let your ego get the best of you. In addition to that,
yes, Jeremy, yes, proper form and all that is going to get you over this. It's going to build a muscle. A proper form is going to build a muscle.
There is one more trick that you can use to further increase mechanical tension. And this brings me to my final
one more trick to get more of that fake mechanical tension muscles, inflammatory muscle response. Great.
modification. Most people want to stimulate more growth, especially for the upper body muscles.
Yeah, stimulate more fake growth. Okay.
Try to develop this training.
Hold on a second.
That is the true power of science. And if you're looking for customized help,
yes, that's the true power of his fake science. I'll see you in the next one. Tell me what you think about that. Like, subscribe, support the channel. I'll see you in the next one, broski. I gotta go, man. This is hilarious.